Generation X. In general terms, those born between 1965 and 1980. Latchkey kids. Independent. Existentialism. Modern philosophy focusing on personal experience, human ability, and responsibility in an otherwise meaningless universe. We're the cause. This is the effect. We're the Gen Existentialists. Welcome in, my friends, to the Gen Existentialist podcast. My name is Scott.
And I'm Bunny.
And we're going to whip you around the flagpole with all kinds of Gen X talk. And it starts with Mega Wheel the Magnificent, who I will give a spin right now to see what kind of topic we start with. Everything here is extemporaneous and highly existential. You may hear things that you don't agree with. You're going to live with it, because that's how we do things when you're Gen X, right?
That's all good.
Are you ready, Bunny? Our first topic. We've already done some like this before. I'm more apt to kill this one.
Sure.
What about our friendship is important to you?
Yeah, kill that.
Yeah. Okay. So
we've already talked about this.
We're going to kind of rewind, and we will respin Mega Wheel of Magnificent, who, with 1,400 some odd questions, occasionally you're going to get things in the same vein.
She always seems to land the same, same 10 topics.
We reserve the right to deal with questions as we will.
Yeah, go back and listen to other episodes to find out the answers to those questions.
And unfortunately, we don't have a cross-reference. You'll just have to listen to everything, okay?
This is true.
So, our actual first question for this episode, should college be provided for free?
No.
Why?
Because I think everybody that works there deserves decent compensation. I also believe that some people just aren't equipped for college mentally or emotionally.
Well, just because it's provided doesn't mean you have to go.
This is true.
I
thought you meant provided, like everybody gets to go to college for free.
Well, everybody could if they
then that
so
diminishes
choose.
The value of college education, doesn't it?
You still have to finish. You still have to do it. It's not like you get a free ride and you just go, because you showed up, you get all A's. Congratulations, you're a doctor. Well done.
You'd be surprised. I mean, considering some of the people I've seen push through college who still can't read a lick or write a decent sentence.
The thing that
makes you wonder.
Surprised me was when we were in college, I worked in the writing center at NKU for several semesters. And the thing that surprised me was how many people were in college that really couldn't write yet. They were working on it. And to their credit, the people I'm talking about came to the writing center and asked for help and got it. But there were a lot of people that came in fresh out of high school that weren't really sure about sentence structure. And that just baffled me.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, I'm not going to put the blame on teachers at all. It's kind of just the educational system in the country as it is. Lack of funding and trying to get people pushed through it.
I think there's plenty of funding.
I don't think there's enough funding.
We're one of
the
most highest funded countries in the world as far as per student.
So but when you're not paying the teachers enough, you don't draw the best people to the job. It's like police officers. Well, the job doesn't pay enough to attract top drawer across the board.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to be derogatory, but the whole thing could use a change. And I think
absolutely
college for free. Let's be very clear here. The word free is incorrect.
Yeah, there's nothing free. Somebody pays for it.
Free. But when I talk about healthcare, like a national healthcare system, yes, our taxes would pay for it. If we get rid of the wasteful spending and focus on healthcare, education, technology, focus on the things that the populace actually needs, things would be different.
It's a popular mandate.
Do we need as much money going to the Department of Defense as we've got? No, we don't. Do we need more of that going to the VA? Yeah, absolutely, we do. It's just the allocation of funds. That's the only thing that makes me upset about taxes, is that the allocation of where those taxes go is just so skewed toward privatization and projects that don't help anyone. So college, should it be available to everyone
It is.
at a lower cost or free?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Do I think vocational and technical schools
Mm-hmm.
should be the same way? Yes. Do I think that apprenticeship programs should be a bigger focus than they are?
Sure.
Yes, absolutely. Because not everybody wants to go to college.
Yeah, it should be definitely affordable. That's the thing. I don't
Yeah.
think you can make anything really free because nothing is really free.
Yeah.
But to make it a little more affordable for the person that maybe does belong in college, but they can't afford it.
Right.
Sure. I absolutely believe that, but I honestly don't believe everybody belongs in college.
No, absolutely not. Just like
And that's not being like a classist or a
not
elitist thing.
Not
No.
everybody belongs on an NFL team.
Exactly.
Not
It's-
everybody belongs in the space program.
Some people are better suited for other vocations.
Yeah, and it's got to be what you enjoy too. I
And
mean,
a lot of college is a lot of fluff that doesn't really translate into beneficial work in the future.
depends on what you're doing.
Depends, but a lot of the classes that I was mandated to take, and you probably were too, I think were a lot of classes that ultimately didn't really benefit us in our profession, and that we rarely think about other than nostalgia. Like I've been to that class before, and
Yeah.
I learned about rocks and Native Americans and
Yeah.
literature from the 16th century and just other sorts of other social issues that I don't care about now, and blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. It's...
Were there classes that I don't feel like I needed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's one of those things, but it gets back to something we've talked about too, with like certifications and going to take an exam to prove that you know a lot about this particular topic.
Everybody has
Does
to
it-
get paid.
That's
That's the thing.
and
That's
the
why
whole
these
thing.
things exist. That's why this bloat exists, is because everybody's got their hand out and they all want money.
Yeah, well, it's because
They can wrap it in. They want to give you a well-rounded education. I'm not interested in if my technical professional out there that I need the assistance of, be them a house builder or a brain surgeon, had a well-rounded education. I'm more interested in if they can actually do the job and it's something that they're passionate about.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter to me if they studied, jazz in the 19th century or, any of the other weird little extracurricular courses that they sort of force everyone to take. Now, if you want to be a jazz musician, by all means, that's a wonderful thing. I don't know.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. So we will give Mega Wheel of Magnificent another spin. That was a bit of a contentious topic there.
Sure, it always
You
is.
hear the word free about anything and you kind of you bristle a little bit.
I do, because I realize there's no free lunch. I mean,
I
everything
agree.
comes from somewhere.
Okay, we've got our next topic.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to get a tattoo of one album cover, what would you choose and why?
Wow. One album cover.
One album cover. And we've seen some bad album covers.
That's true.
That one page that you hooked me up with is just, some of those things are just appallingly bad.
Yeah. Wow. I've never really thought about that because I never really think about getting tattoos.
Never?
Not really.
Oh.
I mean, I've got a long-standing coupon that my wife made for me before she was my wife that said she'll pay for any one tattoo. And I've held on to
Do it.
I have no interest, really. I mean, why
Really?
mess with perfection?
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
No, I don't want to put a tattoo on me and then have it blow up when I get fat. And then when I lose weight, it'll look all goofy. I'm thinking long-term strategies here. I'm going to pass this on to you because I'm having a hard time thinking of album covers that I'm really that in love with.
I have one tattoo. It's my Jedi tattoo. I don't know that we've talked about it on the show, but that's a different topic. So I'm a fan, but it took me years to figure out what I wanted and to design it. And I'm incredibly happy with it. I love my tattoo. I would like to get another one, but I still don't know exactly what I want to get. And that's the thing. Having had that success with my first one, I'm picky. And I think anybody that gets a tattoo, you should be picky.
You'd think that,
So-
but I mean, look at some of the performers today.
Yeah, true. And like seriously, and there are musicians that I love that have tattoos like on their necks and their face, like Brent Hines from Mastodon with the tattoo he's got on his face. I get it. Here's the thing, if it makes you happy, that's all that matters. What anybody else thinks about it, fuck them. Who cares? Having said that, if I were to get a tattoo of one album cover, it would probably be, I'll give you a couple. One would be Rio, Duran Duran, because I love that artwork. The other would be like right behind you there, the Number of the Beast, Iron Maiden. And probably Fly By Night by Rush, just the owl, the snow owl landing. So it would be one of those three. And it would depend on my mood. And I think between the three of those, they're all pretty different from each other. So I don't know that getting an album cover artwork as a tattoo, I don't know that it's a great idea.
No.
Because what if you end up hating that band later? They put something out that you really don't like or agree with, and it just goes awry.
Yeah, but so I'm going to stand by I just don't have an answer for that, because I would never tattoo an album cover on my body. I'm sorry.
And that's probably the right thing. And I think, like, if you've got a comic book character or a book character or something like that you love, like if you are an absolute Mickey Mouse aficionado and you've loved Mickey Mouse from day one.
Can you imagine?
There are people out there. Everybody likes different stuff. Then getting a tattoo of Mickey Mouse probably makes sense.
Sure.
I would never do it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, my tattoo is Star Wars related. Imagine that, listeners. Imagine that. Yeah. Could you have even guessed?
My body, my choice.
So it's one of those things. If you like it, do it. Do it. Just like I'm going to spin Mega Wheel of Magnificent.
I need some
another question.
I need some redemption. I don't normally skip questions. I feel bad about that.
You've used your one skip.
My one skip for the month.
This is silly. Should teachers get tenure?
If they deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
I don't know, though. I mean, I also think it needs to be a little performance-based, too. Because there are some teachers that I've had that had no business still being teachers, but they're making that sweet, sweet gravy paycheck, and they're phoning it in, so... Now, there are some teachers out there that are super passionate, and they absolutely deserve to be employed and be paid well. And there are others that just, they need to retire.
Thinking back, I don't think I ever had a teacher or a professor in college that I thought was just riding out the days. Like, literally, every professor I had at NKU was that passionate person. About their subject and about learning and about exploring knowledge. So I got lucky. And it's one of those things that I think we've had this conversation before, like going to a smaller school, and like I never had a TA. I always had professors teaching my classes. And especially once you get into the upper level classes, there are only maybe 15, max 20 people in the class. So it was always good conversation and good debates and stuff. And I really enjoyed it, but I know that's not everybody's experience.
This is really an education heavy episode.
Yes, that's not a bad thing. But we'll give Meg another spin here and see what she comes up with for us.
Come on,
maybe
Meg.
She'll give us something D&D related.
Yeah, maybe. Oh boy.
Because
that
we just haven't
chestnut.
had enough of those. Yeah. Oh, you ready?
Oh, yeah.
If you could invite one ancient philosopher to watch MTV with you in the 80s, who would you choose, and what might they say about pop culture?
Oh, man. I mean, my go-to ancient philosopher, Seneca.
Okay.
As the dude I would invite, but I don't know if he'd have too much to say about MTV. You can invite that guy who lived in a jar, whatever was his name. Which one was that? That lived with dogs.
I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
See, we're both going with Stoics though, because I was going to say Marcus Aurelius.
All right.
And Although you could go with any ancient Greek, you could go with Kierkegaard or Kant, any of them, and my answer would be the same. We're going to watch MTV. They don't speak English. They're not going to have any idea what's going on. They're going to be frightened as hell.
They'll enjoy the scantily clad ladies. Invite Cicero over for for an afternoon.
They might. I mean, they're not going to say anything about pop culture because we're not going to be able to discuss it. It's going to be very frightening, and they're going to be very scared. So
get 4 or 5 rap videos into Seneca. He'll be loosened up.
But I think if you look at it from a different perspective, take MTV and 80s pop culture and look at it through the lens of ancient philosophies, whether it's Stoicism or the ancient Greeks, the amount of the lack of pragmatism, the lack of overall use. Art was a different thing then. I think we've gotten to a point where for a lot of people art is kind of disposable. It's just a thing you consume, like a cheeseburger, and you throw the wrapper away, which is unfortunate. But it's also one of those things that I think is very much like 80s culture. It's art, but it's like, poof, it's gone.
I love the 80s.
I love the 80s too. I love the 80s too, but they're very much, a lot of the stuff from the 80s is like a ripe dandelion. A little breeze comes along and it just flies away, and there's no real substance.
And that's why it was so sweet.
It was
there for a day, and it was beautiful. And now it's gone.
But what if
I cry every day when I don't get to smell that dandelion.
What if you were longing for something more substantial, something that would last and stand the test of time, like Duran Duran has?
Well, there you go. You answered your own question. There it is.
Yeah. But there's
your steel magnolia right there. It's there. It's never going to go away.
The Duran Duran dandelion will never fly away.
That's right.
It will always be there, growing in a crack in the pavement.
Was there ever a metal band called Steel Magnolia? There should have been. That's such a dumb name.
I wish. Did you catch the reference there?
I did.
There'll always be the dandelion growing in the crack in the pavement. If you are a Duran Duran fan, you got that reference, by God. We'll give Mega Wheel Magnificent another spin, which I actually did just a moment ago.
Oh, man.
So I've actually
subtle spins here.
Yeah. Very philosophy heavy now. What kind of person do you want to be in the world?
I just want to be somebody who's true to themselves.
Yeah.
Unapologetically.
I want to be the villain.
Well, yeah.
Going against my paladin inclinations.
Yeah, everybody wants to be the villain. The smart people want to be the villain.
Because they know the villains get paid, baby. That's why you want to be a villain.
The villains are always more interesting. That's just, in my theory of fiction and film.
Almost every villain is completely misunderstood.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. The more I think about it, the older I get, the casting, the perspective of the camera.
How about real life villains?
They always
misunderstood?
We're talking about fiction.
Okay.
No,
we're talking about Darth Vader, not
I don't want
Adolf
to be
Hitler.
I don't want to be a real life villain. No,
Okay.
As you said, I'm way too much of a paladin for that. I can't do it. I think in the story of life, sometimes the villain, because villains typically don't have to adhere to the same rules. It's why the anti-hero is so popular.
Yeah. Here's a question. Do you think Batman is the world's most famous Stoic? Most well-known Stoic? I'm sticking on philosophy and anti-heroes.
I don't think Batman is a Stoic.
You don't?
No.
Really?
I think everything Batman does is born of just barely trying to control his emotions. If he actually had control, we wouldn't have a need for Batman.
All right.
Batman is his escape and his release.
Okay.
Just curious. If Batman were a true Stoic, if Bruce Wayne were a true Stoic, he would simply use his position as Bruce Wayne of Wayne Enterprises to get the things done he needed to get done. Very coolly, professionally, calmly get it done. No, he puts on a cape and a cowl and goes out and beats the shit out of people. There's nothing stoic about that.
Ah, okay. Just checking.
And just so everybody knows, Moon Knight is better than Batman.
Yeah.
Always has been, always will be. Because there's no illusion of stoicism.
Well, the guy who's Moon Knight doesn't even really know he's Moon Knight, does he?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
It depends. In the
I
early
thought this
days,
was like a Dr. Fate type thing, where it's just like, oh, now I'm suddenly this thing.
No, well,
Yeah. You're taken over by an ancient.
Yeah, in different
thing.
versions. Well, no, you
Yeah.
partnered with an ancient moon god.
That's how it
We're
works.
taken
Partner.
over. You chose your lot in life. So we will give Mega Wheel of Magnificent another spin, see if we can come up with something good to end this here episode with. And just in case you'd like to get in touch with us, wherever you're listening to this, there should be a way for you to leave a comment. And by God, we will take a look. We will take your comments into consideration, and we will completely ignore them.
Hey,
I'm
reach
kidding.
out and touch
I'm
me. Or touch Faith. Or whatever.
Reach out and touch something.
Yeah.
No, if you send us a message, we will try and address it on the show.
Of course
or
we
we'll
will.
just get back to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so if your wardrobe could only be one color, what would it be?
Wow. The Gen X thing to say is black.
Mm-hmm.
Because it goes with everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to go with that, really. I mean, when you look at my general wardrobe, it's pretty much a lot of black.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I'm going to surprise you here. Because typically you would think black.
No, I wouldn't.
Well,
I think
okay,
some sort of neon orange color, I think, would be what I would think.
You would think so.
Or green.
But here's what it would be.
What's
it would
that?
be white.
White, all right.
Even though I would look like a giant marshmallow, it would be white because there were some videos. There was a period. One of my favorite bands is Manic Street Preachers. There was a period in which most of what they were wearing was white.
Okay.
And they would use stencils and spray paint slogans on their shirts and stuff, kind of going back to like other punk bands and stuff did that. So there's that fun, like having you're a walking canvas.
Okay.
I love that concept and ideology. And you think about it, not many people wear white.
No.
It's just not done.
It's big in the R&B world. There's a lot of R&B people that wear white.
Yeah, but I would go for white.
Okay. See, then we'd look like Spy versus Spy the whole time.
Yeah, it would work perfectly for the show. So yeah, for PR purposes, absolutely, we're going black.
Okay,
and white.
when we start making public appearances, we'll coordinate our wardrobes.
And if I'm not allowed to have white, then yes, neon orange would be my choice.
There you go.
Neon orange, especially if I can have white accoutrements, because then I'd look like a big creamsicle, and that would just be wonderful.
Nice.
And on that note, we will end this version of the Gen Existentialists. Until next time, please leave us a note and let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what color you would like to be clothed in for the rest of your life. Until next time, my name is Scott.
And I'm Bunny.
Have a good one.